Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're doing something a little bit different.
Mm.
Usually we're looking outward, at complex history or science or the latest tech trends shifting the global economy. But today, we're turning that lens inward.
Right back at ourselves.
Exactly. We're focusing on a skill that, for so many of our listeners, is the gateway to all those other things.
It really is the universal key, isn't it? It opens pretty much every other door.
It does. Today, we are talking about English. But before anyone tunes out thinking this is just another, grammar tip session or some boring classroom lecture,
Like chuckle.
Right. Let me set the stage properly. We are not talking about textbooks today. We are looking at a specific and I think a very painful problem that millions of people face. We're talking about the intermediate plateau.
The silent killer of language dreams. I know that sounds a little dramatic.
It does sound dramatic.
But it's true. It's where all the motivation goes to die.
It is, because it's so frustrating. It's that feeling where you've studied for years. You know the rules. You can read a menu. You can watch a YouTube video and understand most of it. But when you try to speak in a meeting or you try to make a joke at a dinner party, you freeze.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like a child. You feel completely and totally stuck.
Yeah, and you feel like no matter how much harder you try, the results just aren't there. You're just running on a treadmill.
Yeah.
You're putting in all this effort, lots of sweat, but you're not actually going anywhere.
Exactly. So to solve this, we've pulled together a really fascinating stack of sources. We're looking at a methodology called the English Accelerator. We're breaking down a philosophy of the 4 levels of language. And this is the part I'm really excited about. We're integrating principles from James Clear's huge bestseller, Atomic Habits.
It is a powerful combination. We are essentially taking the psychology of behavior change, how humans build any habit, and applying it directly to the neurology of learning a language.
And the mission for this deep dive is specific. We're looking at a timeline. I want everyone listening to imagine the year 2026.
It sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? But it's just around the corner.
It is.
Yeah.
And the question our source material poses is this. How do you make sure that by 2026, you aren't just making another empty New Year's resolution? How do you ensure that the person you see in the mirror 2 years from now is fundamentally different?
A person who speaks English with, total command and ease.
Yes.
To do that, we have to dismantle some myths. And the biggest one, the one that holds almost everyone back, is the idea of magic.
Let's start there, because I think deep down, a lot of people really do believe that English fluency is kind of a lottery.
It's a talent.
Yeah, you're either born with a language gene or you aren't. And if you aren't, well, tough luck. You're just destined to struggle forever.
It's the talent myth. And honestly, it is the most dangerous thing a learner can believe. Our source material just attacks this idea head on. It says, stop treating English like magic. Stop treating it like some kind of art form that needs a muse or divine inspiration.
Okay, so if it's not art and it's not magic, what is it?
It's a mechanical skill. That's it. It is a trainable, repeatable physical skill. The source compares it to something we're all very familiar with, driving a car.
I love this analogy. I really want to unpack this because I think it explains that stuck feeling perfectly. Take me back to when you first learned how to drive. Can you remember that?
Oh, vividly. It was a nightmare. I remember sitting in the driver's seat and feeling like the car was a spaceship, just buttons and levers everywhere.
You were terrified.
I was terrified. I was going to crash into everything.
Right. It's just complete sensory overload. I mean, think about what your brain is actually doing in that moment.
Everything.
Yeah.
All at once. You have to check the rearview mirror. You have to check the side mirrors. You're looking at the speedometer. You're trying to feel the pedals with your feet. Is that the brake or is that the gas?
And you're steering the wheel, and you're watching out for other cars and pedestrians and road signs.
It feels impossible. Your brain is trying to process 10, maybe 15 different inputs every single second. You feel clumsy, you stall the engine, you jerk the car forward.
And you're sweating. I remember being physically exhausted after just 20 minutes because your brain is running at 100% capacity just to keep the car on the road.
Because you're doing everything consciously. Every single action is a deliberate choice.
Now, fast forward 5-10 years. What's driving like for you now?
I don't even know. I get in the car, I drive to the supermarket, I buy my groceries, and I come home. And if you asked me, hey, how many times did you use your turn signal? Or how much pressure did you put on the gas pedal leaving that stop sign?
You couldn't tell me.
I would have no idea.
Because it just disappeared.
It became automatic. The skill moved from the conscious, effortful part of your brain to the automatic subconscious part. It got hardwired.
And this is exactly what happens, or at least what should happen, with English.
Precisely. When you're a beginner or an intermediate learner, you are that teenager in the driver's seat. You are thinking, okay, subject, then verb, then object. Wait, is it he go or he goes? Oh, that's third person singular.
How do I pronounce the? Where does my tongue go?
What's the word for? For accounting. You're manually operating the machinery of the language piece by piece.
And it's no wonder people feel completely drained after speaking English for 10 minutes. It's pure cognitive overload.
But the promise of our source material is that this is just a phase. It's not a permanent state.
Yeah.
If you treat English like a skill like driving, you can get to that automatic state, but you can't get there just by, wishing for it.
You need a roadmap.
You need a system.
And that roadmap is what we're going to break down today. It's really split into two main parts, the what and the how. The what is the structure of the language itself, what our source calls the 4 levels. And the how is the psychology behind it, the habits and the mindset.
And you absolutely need both. I mean, a map is useless if you don't have a car, and a car is useless if you don't have a map. You'll just drive in circles.
So let's start with the map, the 4 levels of language. This framework suggests that to master English, you have to understand its component parts. You can't just learn English. I mean, that's way too big.
It's like saying build a house. Okay, well, you need to learn about foundations and framing and wiring.
Let's learn the bricks that build the house.
Exactly. And level 1 is the foundation of it all. It is sound.
Specifically, speech sounds or pronunciation clarity. Now, there's a very important distinction made here that I really want to highlight. The source says we're aiming for clarity, not for erasing your accent.
This is huge. So many learners carry on a lot of shame about their accent. They think, oh, I need to sound like I was born in London, or I need to sound like a California surfer.
But the source argues that's a trap.
It is a total trap. And frankly, it's unnecessary. Your accent is your history. It's your identity. It tells the story of where you come from. You do not need to erase that to be a fluent, confident speaker. However,
So you do need clarity.
you do need clarity.
Okay, so define the difference for us. What is the real difference between accent and clarity?
Clarity is mechanical. It
Yeah.
just means, does the sound you are making match the sound the listener is expecting to hear? So if I say, I'm going to the beach, but it sounds like I'm going to the bee, well, a bad word.
Right, the short E versus the long E sound.
Exactly. That's a clarity issue. It stops communication. It creates confusion and, maybe embarrassment. Accent is just the flavor of the sound, the music behind the words. Clarity is the actual shape of the sound itself.
So why is this so hard? I mean, why do intelligent adults struggle to make certain sounds? Why can't we just hear it and repeat it?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. And it comes down to neurology. We have to look at the brain as a big categorizing machine. When you're a baby, your brain is like a blank warehouse. It's empty.
Okay.
And you hear your native language, let's say it's Japanese or Spanish or Mandarin, and your brain starts building little boxes. It hears a sound and says, okay, this is the A sound, we'll put it in this box. This is the K sound, it goes over here.
So you build this library of sounds based entirely on your mother tongue.
Precisely. But here's the problem. English has sounds that your native language might not have. Your brain never built a box for them. The warehouse has them missing a shelf.
And the classic example our source uses is the th sound.
The notorious the, think, that, those. In so many languages around the world, that sound simply does not exist. So when an adult learner hears the word think, their brain panics for a split second.
It doesn't know where to file it.
It looks around the warehouse and says, we don't have a box for this. Quick, put it in the closest one.
So if the closest box is an S sound, they end up saying sink.
Or if it's an F, they say fink. Or maybe a D, they say dink.
And the learner feels stupid. They think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I say this simple sound? My mouth isn't working. But it's not stupidity. It's not a lack of talent. It is a lack of neurological infrastructure. You literally have not built the box yet.
This is such a liberating way to think about it. It takes all the shame out of the equation.
It does.
So if the problem is that we're missing these neurological boxes, how do we build them?
With strategy. Most people just practice randomly. They just talk and hope it gets better over time. But the source suggests what it calls a sniper approach.
Okay.
You don't try to fix everything. You need to identify the specific sounds, usually it's only 3 or 4, that are missing from your library.
The ones that cause the most confusion when you speak.
Exactly. The ones that make people say, sorry, what was that again? Ugh. Maybe for you, it's the difference between R and L, or V and B, or a vowel sound. You identify them. Then you apply the 10 minutes rule.
This already sounds like something straight out of Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
Small and consistent.
That's the key. You spend just 10 minutes a day focusing only on those 2 or 3 sounds. You watch a YouTube video that shows you exactly where your tongue should go.
Like, is it behind your teeth? Is it touching the roof of your mouth? Is there vibration in your throat? Is air coming out? You practice it in front of a mirror. You record yourself on your phone and listen back.
Just 10 minutes a day?
Consistency always beats intensity. If you do this for 30 days straight, your brain gets the message. It says, oh, okay, this is a new category. This sound is important. I guess I need to build a new box for it. And pretty soon, the sound that felt impossible becomes easy.
And the ripple effect of this must be confidence, right?
It's a massive confidence boost. Think about it. If you're constantly worried that people won't understand you, you're tense, your breathing is shallow, your brain is kind of in fight or flight mode.
You can't think clearly.
You can't think clearly. But when you know that your sounds are clear, you relax. And when you relax, your grammar improves, your vocabulary flows better. It just unlocks everything else.
Wow. Okay, so that's level 1, sound, the foundation. Let's move up the ladder to level 2, vocabulary.
The graveyard of memory. Laughs. It really is. I think every single person listening has had that experience of memorizing a long list of vocabulary words for a test.
And then forgetting 90% of them 2 days later?
Gone.
Vanish.
That's because we're taught to learn words as lists. You know, apple equals manzana, table equals mesa, just a simple one-to-one translation.
And why doesn't that work for achieving high-level fluency?
Because English, and really any language, is not a simple code where one word equals another. Words are systems. They're like spider webs. They're networks of meaning.
The source uses a great example for this. The word run. R-U-N. I mean, it's a baby word. We all learn it in the first week of class.
We think we learn it. We learn the definition. Run means to move your legs fast. But then you're in a business meeting and you hear a native speaker say, I'm running a company.
And they're definitely not jogging around the office.
No. They're managing it. Then you hear someone say, my nose is running.
You need a tissue.
The car is running.
The engine is on. I need to run a diagnostic on the computer. The Broadway play has been running for 3 weeks. I'm running late for my appointment.
It's just, it's everywhere.
This is a concept called polysemy. It's a fancy word that just means multiple meanings. If you treat vocabulary like a list, you break down the first time you hear, run a company. You get confused, you have to learn the network of the word, you have to see how it behaves in different situations.
So the takeaway is, instead of using flashcards with single words on them, we should be learning entire phrases.
Always phrases, always context. But there's another side to level 2 that I think is even more important for our listeners, especially for getting past that intermediate plateau. It's about what to do when you don't know the word.
Ah, the koala strategy.
Yes, this is brilliant. So imagine you're in a conversation. You're telling a story about a wonderful trip you took to Australia. You want to mention that cute furry animal, the one that eats eucalyptus leaves. But your mind goes completely blank.
The word koala is just gone. It has vanished from your brain.
Now, a beginner or a low intermediate learner freezes. They panic. They say, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the word. And the conversation just dies.
And they feel like a failure.
Exactly. They feel like they failed the test. But a fluent person...
A fluent person doesn't need the word koala.
A fluent person uses description. They don't miss a beat. They just say, you know, that little animal, it lives in Australia, it climbs trees, it's got gray fur and this big black nose. It kind of looks like a small teddy bear.
And the person you're talking to immediately says, oh, a koala.
Boom!
Oh.
You communicated. You succeeded. That is fluency. Fluency is not about having a dictionary in your head. It's about having the tools to describe your way around a gap in your knowledge.
This is called circumlocution, right?
A very fancy word for simply talking around it.
So the actionable advice here is, don't just learn nouns. I mean, nouns are important, but you have to learn descriptive words. Colors, shapes, sizes, textures, emotions.
Yes. If you have a rich toolkit of adjectives and simple verbs, you are invincible. You can describe anything you don't know the word for. It gives you total independence from the dictionary.
I love that phrase, total independence. That's the goal. Okay, let's keep moving. We have sound, the mechanics, we have vocabulary, the networks. Now, level 3. This is where we start putting it all together. Sentences in chunks.
Chunks! It's not the most beautiful word, is it?
It sounds a little bit Clunky.
It does, but it is the secret weapon of all native speakers. Here's a reality that might shock some people. Native speakers do not speak using grammar rules.
Wait, clarify that. Of course we follow grammar rules, don't we?
We follow them, yes, but we don't build with them in real time.
Okay.
When I want to ask you a question, my brain doesn't think, okay, I need an auxiliary verb, do, then a subject, you, then the main verb, want. That is way too slow. It requires too much processing power.
So what are we doing instead?
We're using prefabricated blocks. We're using chunks. If I want to invite you for a coffee, I just pull a ready-made block out of my brain that says, do you want to? That whole phrase is one single unit in my mind. Do you want to? I don't assemble it. I just grab it.
It's like Lego bricks.
That is the perfect analogy. If you try to build a house out of raw clay, molding every single brick by hand, it's going to take forever. But if you have pre-made walls, pre-made windows, pre-made roof sections, chunks, you can snap the house together in seconds.
This explains why so many learners feel slow.
Yes. This is the #1 complaint I hear. I understand everything, but I can't think fast enough to reply. It's because they are manufacturing every single sentence from raw materials. They're doing the grammar math in real time. Native speakers are just snapping Lego blocks together.
So can we give the listeners some examples of these high-value chunks, things they can start listening for?
Oh, absolutely. Think about how we disagree with people. We rarely just say no or you're wrong. We use chunks like, to be honest, I'm not so sure about that.
To be honest, that whole thing is one chunk.
One chunk, or I see what you mean, but...
I see what you mean.
From my perspective, it seems to me that, or the example the source loves to use is the verb suggest.
Oh, right, the suggest trap. This is a good one.
Learners often struggle with the grammar of suggest. They say things like, I suggest you to go to the store, which is grammatically incorrect in English.
It just sounds off.
Yeah.
Awkward.
But if you stop trying to learn the grammar rule and instead you just learn the chunk, can I suggest something? Or I would suggest trying the new restaurant. You bypass the complicated rule entirely. You just memorize the melody of the phrase.
The melody of the phrase. I like that. So the advice for level 3 is, when you're listening to a deep dive like this one or watching a movie, stop listening for individual words. Start listening for the groups of words that always seem to stick together.
Listen for the blocks and steal them. If you hear a character in a show say, you know what I just realized? Don't analyze the grammar. Just memorize the whole block. You know what I just realized? Treat it as one long, new vocabulary word.
Speed comes from chunks.
Speed and fluency come from chunks. Absolutely.
Okay, we've climbed the ladder. We're at the final level. Level 4, social use. This is the sophisticated stuff.
This is the tone and context level. And honestly, this is where the intermediate plateau is the steepest and most slippery.
And why is that?
Because you can have perfect pronunciation from level 1, you can have a great vocabulary from level 2, and you can have fast automatic chunks from level 3, and you can still get it completely wrong because your tone is off.
The source calls this the robot problem.
Right, you're saying the correct words, but you aren't conveying the correct emotion. And in English, sometimes the emotion, the music of your voice is more important than the actual words you use.
Let's do the exercise in the source material. It uses a very, very simple phrase. Are you okay?
Sure.
It's 3 words.
Super simple. Any beginner knows those words. But depending on the music of your voice, your intonation, it can mean 3 completely different and very important things.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'll give you an emotion. You say the phrase. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. Emotion number 1. You are genuinely worried about me. I'm your friend. I look pale and sick. How do you say it?
Are you okay? With a gentle downward inflection.
Okay. I feel cared for. I feel safe. I'll tell you what's wrong. Now, emotion number 2. You are suspicious of me. You think I'm acting weird. Maybe I'm hiding something or lying to you.
You okay? With a rising questioning inflection at the end.
Ooh, see, that feels accusatory. That feels like, what is wrong with you? Or what are you up to?
A totally different meaning.
Totally different. Okay, emotion number 3. You're annoyed with me. Maybe I just stepped on your toe, or I'm being really loud in a quiet place.
Are you okay? With a sharp, slightly exasperated tone.
Same 3 words. 3 completely different stories.
And this is exactly what so many learners miss. They focus so hard on the grammar and the vocabulary that they flatten their voice. They speak in a monotone. Are you?
Okay, everybody. And the native speakers just confused. They don't know. Are you angry? Are you sad? Are you a robot?
So how do we fix this? I mean, you can't just read a textbook about tone of voice.
No, you have to become an actor. The advice here is fantastic and very practical. Take one single phrase. Just one. And practice saying it with 5 different emotions: angry, happy, bored, excited, suspicious.
And you have to record yourself.
You have to record it. That's the crucial step. You need to hear yourself back. You need to check if the audio you're producing matches the intention in your head. This is what moves you from textbook English to real-world English.
So those are the 4 levels: sound, vocabulary, chunks, and social use. That is the what? That is the machinery of the car.
But a car doesn't move without fuel in the tank.
And that brings us to the second half of our deep dive, the how. The mindset and the habits needed to actually do all this. This is where most people fail. It's not because they aren't smart, and it's not because they don't have good materials. It's because their expectations are completely wrong.
The source material lists 5 truths of successful learners. And I have to be honest, reading these, they're not the warm, fuzzy, motivational slogans you see on Instagram.
Yeah.
This is some tough love.
They are, but I think they're liberating because they are true. They set you up for reality, not for disappointment.
Okay, let's go through them. Truth number 1. Learning is uncomfortable.
We are biologically wired to avoid discomfort. We want to feel smart, we want to feel competent, but learning a new language, especially speaking it, essentially means agreeing to feel a little bit stupid for a while.
It means feeling awkward, sound like a child sometimes.
Yes. And the critical mindset shift here is to realize that that awkwardness is not a bad sign. It is a sign of growth. If you go to the gym and your muscles aren't burning a little bit, you're not getting stronger.
Good point.
It's the same with language. If you're speaking English and you don't feel a little bit foolish or uncomfortable, you probably aren't pushing your boundaries enough.
So you have to embrace the cringe.
You have to embrace the cringe. It means you are leveling up.
I like that. Okay, truth number 2. Mistakes are data.
This is my favorite one. We grow up in a school system where a mistake is a sin. It's a big red X on the paper. It means you failed.
It means you are bad at this. It becomes part of your identity.
Exactly. But in skill acquisition, a mistake is just a data point. That's all it is. It's neutral feedback. It just tells you, hey, this connection in your brain isn't fully wired yet. We need to do a few more reps.
It reveals the gap between where you are and where you want to be.
Precisely. If you don't make mistakes, you don't generate any data. If you don't generate data, you can't identify the problem. You should be collecting your mistakes like you collect coins in a video game. Every mistake is a little nugget of gold that tells you exactly what to study next.
That's a powerful reframe. Okay, truth number 3. Fluency is slow.
Oof. This is a hard one in our culture. We live in the age of hack everything, you know? Learn English in 30 days, become fluent in 3 months.
It's just marketing nonsense, isn't it?
It is biological nonsense.
Yeah.
Learning a language is a physical process. You are literally growing new neuronal connections. You are myelinating pathways in your brain. That's a physical change.
Yeah.
You cannot rush biology any more than you can rush a pregnancy or rush a cornstalk growing from a seed. It takes the time it takes.
Truth number 4 is related to this one. Progress is invisible.
This is the hardest one to deal with psychologically, I think. You practice today, you study your flashcards, you watch a video, you do your 10 minutes of pronunciation work, and tomorrow, you feel exactly the same.
You don't feel any smarter.
You don't. It's just like going to the gym. You work out today, you look in the mirror, you look exactly the same. You work out for a whole week, you still look the same. It's only when you look back after 6 months that you say, whoa, I am a different person.
You have to trust the process, even when the mirror, or in this case, your feeling, lies to you.
You have to have faith in the consistency. And that leads directly to the final truth, truth number 5. The only failure is stopping.
Because it's a skill based on repetition and physical changes in the brain,
Yeah.
you can't actually fail as long as you keep doing the reps.
Right. You can go slow, you can have a bad day, you can take a week off for vacation, but you can't fail. The only way to truly lose the game is to quit the game entirely.
Okay, so we have the mindset. We're ready to be uncomfortable. We're ready for it to be slow. But how do we actually fit this into a busy life? I mean, we all have jobs, kids, responsibilities.
And this is where Atomic Habits comes in. The source material does a brilliant job of taking James Clear's 4 laws of behavior change and applying them specifically and practically to learning English.
Let's run through them. Principle 1, make it obvious.
The old saying, out of sight, out of mind. If your English books are buried in a drawer under a pile of clothes, you will not study. You have to design your environment so that English practically punches you in the face all day.
Okay, give us some practical tactics for that.
The easiest one, change your phone language to English. Right now, you look at that screen 100 times a day. That is 100 free mini lessons. Settings, brightness, notifications, decline call, it just becomes normal.
What about in your physical house?
Sticky notes. I know it sounds childish, but it works. Put a label on the mirror that says mirror. Put one on the coffee maker that says coffee maker. Put one on the door that says door. It forces your brain to acknowledge the English reality of your physical space.
And I guess in your digital space, you could subscribe to English channels on YouTube so they just naturally fill your feed.
Yes, curate your digital environment so that English is the default, not the exception you have to go looking for.
Okay, principle 2, make it attractive.
This directly addresses the boredom factor. Most people quit learning English not because it's hard, but because it's boring. They're studying textbooks about the pen is on the table or some fictional business meeting from the 1990s.
It's dry, it's painful, there's no joy in it.
Zero joy. The source shares a great personal story about how the author learned French. They didn't use textbooks. They just watched hundreds of hours of YouTube videos about fantasy novels.
Because they were a huge nerd for fantasy novels.
Exactly. They already loved the topic. The French language was just the vehicle to get more of what they loved. So if you love gaming, don't read a textbook. Watch gaming streamers in English. If you love cooking, watch Gordon Ramsay or recipe videos.
If you're into fitness, follow fitness influencers in English.
You are hacking your brain's own dopamine system. You want to watch the content because you're interested in the topic. The English learning happens as a positive side effect. It makes the habit attractive.
Principle 3, make it easy. This one feels really important.
This is the most important one for consistency. We tend to make these huge, scary goals. I will become fluent, or I will study for 1 hour every single day.
And then Wednesday comes, you're tired, you worked late, you had to pick up the kids, and you don't do it.
And then you feel guilty, you feel like a failure, and you quit. The rule here is lower the bar, then lower it again. Lower it until it is so ridiculously easy that you can't possibly say no.
The source gives a great example. Instead of the goal being find a teacher, which is big and complicated.
The goal should be search English teacher on Instagram. That takes 30 seconds. Anyone can do that. Instead of read a chapter of a book, the goal is read one paragraph.
Instead of watch a whole movie, it's watch one 60-second YouTube short.
The motto is, forward is forward. A tiny step keeps the momentum alive. A 0 day kills momentum. So you should never have a 0 day, even if the non-zero effort is just listening to one song in English on your way to work.
And finally, principle 4, make it satisfying.
The human brain repeats what feels good. We need a reward for our effort, even if it's small.
And this is where the habit tracker comes in.
It is so simple, it's almost analog, but it works like magic. Get a physical calendar, a real paper one. Put it on your wall where you see it every day. Every day you do your tiny English habit, even if it's just for 5 minutes. You take a big red marker and you put a giant X on that day.
And after a week, you've got a chain of 7 X's.
And you look at that chain and your brain gets a little hit of dopamine. You feel proud. You think, wow, look at me, I did it. And then your new motivation becomes, I don't want to break the chain. It gamifies the entire process.
There's a deeper psychological identity shift that happens there too, isn't there?
Oh, it's huge. When you see a chain of 30 X's in a row, you stop saying, I am trying to learn English. You start saying, I am the kind of person who practices English every day.
You become the driver.
You become the driver. Your identity changes. And that identity shift is what makes fluency permanent, not just a temporary goal.
So we have the map, which is the 4 levels. We have the car and the fuel, which are the mindset and the habits. But I have to ask the question that I know some listeners are thinking. What if you're doing all of this and you still feel stuck?
The plateau.
The intermediate plateau. You're practicing, you're watching the videos, you're marking your X's on the calendar, but you're just not getting better. Or maybe you know you're making mistakes, but you don't know what they are because you can't hear them yourself.
This is the fundamental limitation of self-study. At a certain point, you can't fix what you can't see, and your own brain is very, very good at filtering out your own errors. You think you are saying think, but you're actually saying sink, and your brain tells you it's perfect. You're blind to it.
So you need an outside ear.
A mirror.
You need a diagnostic. You need targeted feedback. And this is where the source material introduces its core concept, the English accelerator.
Now, to be clear, this isn't just another online course with pre-recorded videos. No, not at all. It's a feedback loop. The concept is simple but profound. Instead of generic lessons that are the same for everyone, it starts with you. The process is You record 3 short videos of yourself just speaking naturally.
So like talking about your day or a hobby or a movie you watched.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Completely unscripted. Then, an expert analyst watches those videos, but, and this is the key, they don't correct every single little mistake they hear. That would be overwhelming and demoralizing.
It would just be a sea of red ink.
Exactly. Instead, they look for patterns. They find your personal top 3 blockers. Maybe it's that one "the" sound that's causing 50% of misunderstandings. Maybe it's the way you consistently misuse the past tense. Or maybe it's a specific tone issue from level 4 that makes you sound rude when you're trying to be polite.
So it's the 80-20 rule. They find the 20% of mistakes that are causing 80% of your communication problem.
Precisely. And once you know your top 3 blockers, you get a customized 30-day roadmap to fix only those things.
That's the difference between just studying and targeted training.
It completely stops the guessing game. It can save you months or even years of just wandering around in the dark, practicing the wrong things.
And the source also mentions a free resource for people who maybe aren't ready for that deep analysis but want to get started.
Yes, there's a short guide to building English habits. It's a free download. It has a printable habit tracker. It has lists of those 2-minute practice ideas we talked about. It's a great way to start applying the Atomic Habits framework immediately.
So let's bring it all back home. We started this entire deep dive with a date on the calendar, 2026.
The future.
We asked if 2026 could be the year your English actually fundamentally changes. Not just, oh, I learned a few new words, but I am a different speaker now.
And after looking at this entire roadmap, the answer is clearly yes, it is possible. But it requires a shift in thinking.
It requires stopping the search for a magic pill.
And embracing a clear mechanical structure.
I want to go back to that driving analogy one last time, because I think it holds the real secret to why we should even do this. We don't drive just for the sake of driving. We don't get in the car just to stare at the steering wheel.
No, absolutely not. We drive to get somewhere. We drive to go to the beach with our family, to visit our parents, to get to a job interview that could change our life. The car is just the tool.
English is exactly the same.
What?
It is not the destination. It is the vehicle. It is the vehicle to a better career, to making friends from other cultures, to understanding movies and humor, and the global conversation happening on the internet.
And if you obsess over the vehicle, is my grammar perfect? Is my accent perfect? You never actually enjoy the trip. You never get where you want to go.
So here is my final challenge to you, the listener. If you stop treating English like a difficult test you have to pass, and started treating it like a useful tool you just need to keep sharp, how does that change what you do tomorrow morning?
That is the question.
Don't wait for motivation to strike. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change like the weather. Rely on your method.
Build the habits, collect the mistakes, trust the slow, invisible process of time.
Change your phone language. Learn one new chunk. Put a single sticky note on your mirror. Just start the car.
Forward is forward.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Good luck with your driving.
See you out there on the road.
We'll catch you next time.